everyone. My name is Frank Lupo, and I'm excited to be here with round 2 of LinkedIn Live at Megapro Tools. So I'm really excited to be back. A few months ago, we talked about our multi-bit screwdrivers. And what I'm going to do today is slightly different. I'm actually going to do a bit of a recap on our drivers, and then I'm going to talk about additional products that we carry at Mac Tools. So I'm going to get started. So we're going to talk about our drivers right now as a bit of a recap. So for those of you that were on a few months back, you know I spoke about our drivers extensively. There are 3 patented technologies on our drivers. First and foremost is the Palm Saver cap, which you all know about. The bit cartridge that holds 7 double-ended bits. Now, each bit, not sure if you can see that, has a little spring-loaded ball bearing, and that's the way it kind of clips in. It's a friction connect. So that's number 2. And then number 3, our easy guide collar. If you've ever tried to fasten a small little screw in a piece of wood without a pilot hole, sometimes it's pretty difficult. What this allows you to do is just steady the driver until the screw catches, and then you can apply some torque. So those are the 3 patents that we have, 1, 2, and 3. Some additional features that we have, our shank on all of our drivers, and I'm going to bring back my little demo block here. The shank on all of our drivers is a 1/4 inch nut driver. Okay, that's number 1. And then, if you remember, I said there's 7 double-ended bits. That's 14 bits plus the shank. That's why we call these 15-in-1. All our non-ratcheting are 15-in-1 drivers. And then lastly, our tri-axe handle. Tri-axe handle is abrasion resistant, chemical resistant. We started selling these in 1994, about 28 years ago. We have never ever taken back a driver because there's ever been an issue with our handle. So it's a pretty good record. So that's a bit of a rundown of our patents and our features and benefits on the product. Now, let me talk to you about one of the things that I'm going to talk about today is the drivers are kind of geared towards the automotive sector. So I'm going to be talking to you about our automotive non-ratcheting, our automotive ratcheting driver. So this is our automotive non-ratcheting. So what makes this an automotive ratcheting? Well, there's a couple of bits. On top of all the features we talked about, there are 2 bits in specific. There's the valve stem tool that we have here. If you're an automotive technician, you've probably changed a tire or 2. And what this valve spring tool does, most technicians or do-it-yourselfers will have one of these valve spring tools. If you don't and you buy our product, it actually comes with it. Now, let me explain what this is. So if you've never done this, this is a valve. Where you put air in your tire. Basically, every time you change a tire, this gets replaced. And what this valve spring tool does, there's a little core in here that just you unscrew it and the air comes out really quickly. Why is that important? That saves a technician time, obviously, and money. And that's what this little valve spring tool is used for. The other end of this is a flat tip screwdriver bit. So that is 1 bit on this driver. The other really important bit is the 1/4 inch socket adapter. 1/4 inch socket adapter. If you're like me, this is my metric set of 1/4 inch sockets. I also have an SAE or standard set in my toolbox. What this bit allows you to do is convert your sockets into nut drivers. So in effect, with that little adapter, I can convert both my metric set and my standard SAE set into nut drivers. So that's a pretty useful tool. It'll save you some money because you don't have to buy nut drivers. So that's that piece there. Now, just on that note, I want to talk to you about an additional, this is an accessory, it doesn't come with the driver, but because I was talking to you about the 1/4 inch socket adapter, we also carry, this is an additional piece, a 3/8 socket adapter. So it fits in all our drivers. And again, this is a 3/8 drive socket. So you can convert your 3/8 drive sockets into nut drivers. So I just wanted to share that with you, that we do carry that particular product. What else, what other bits are in this automotive driver? Well, there are 4 double-ended Torx bits. Torx is very prevalent in the automotive industry. And there are 2 Phillips, and like I said, the 1 flat tip on this. So that is the automotive driver. Just wanted to share that with you. That's one. Moving on, I'm going to talk now about our automotive ratcheting. Now, a lot of the same features, but obviously some additional features on this one here. So in terms of the handle still has that triax material, but we also include a comfort grip rubberized material that makes it that much more ergonomic and a lot more easier to work on the higher torque applications. This driver also has the cap saver design, the palm saver design, the cartridge, and you'll notice here that the bits are slightly different. Like I said, this is an automotive driver. In the automotive industry, the 1-inch bit is a bit more prevalent. These are still S2 hardened steel, just like the others. This has a stainless steel shaft and it has a magnet. So what the magnet allows you to do on this, obviously it holds the traditional 1-inch bits, but it also gives you the flexibility of using other bits that you may have in your toolbox. So for example, this one here is a 4-inch bit that I've had in my toolbox for 15 to 20 years. It's a 1/4-inch shank and it works perfectly on the automotive driver. Okay, if you have some of these 2-inch bits, which are very, very popular, again, because of the magnet, it works perfectly. So the automotive ratcheting is pretty versatile. Obviously, the bits here are 1-inch. The palm saver is the same as the non-ratcheting. The handle we talked about. The only thing I haven't spoken to you about is the ratcheting mechanism. Ratcheting mechanism is a 28-tooth ratcheting mechanism. You can apply up to 225 inch-pounds of torque. Now that's a lot. On a good day, I can probably muster up probably 70 to 75 inch-pounds. But 225 inch-pounds of torque is a lot. Now, the way I use the ratcheting, I always say this is the best of both worlds. Now, it's on lock position. The way I use this product is on lock position for the most part. Now, that's just me. That's my preference. The reason I can use it that way is the palm saver cap is independent of the handle. So this can stay stationary and the handle can spin. Why is that important? Put it on there and I can go forward and reverse, just like the non-ratcheting. So I can use it just like the non-ratcheting and go forward and reverse. The only time I really have to engage the ratcheting mechanism is when I want to torque something and apply a bit more torque. Well, when I do, I've just engaged it, and now I can actually give it that much more torque, and with the rubberized handle, it's much easier. If I have to release something that's in there tight, again, just reverse it, and there I go. And you're noticing I'm using the shank with no bit. The shank on the ratcheting is also a 1/4-inch nut driver. So that's the way I use the ratcheting, the automotive ratcheting. It's a great item, our top of the line product right here. Okay, so we've talked about the 2 ratcheting drivers. Now I'm going to talk about probably my favorite driver, and this is the Megalock. So what makes this so popular? What makes this my favorite driver? Well, when you look at it, it kind of looks like it's missing something. It's missing the shank here. Remember, it has all the features as our other drivers. So the palm saver cap, the cartridge with 7 double-ended bits, the easy guide collar, and again, my little demo block here, there's a 1/4-inch nut right at the bottom there. This doesn't have a shank, but it still has that feature where it's a 1/4-inch nut driver. So that still is built into this driver. So why am I so excited about this particular driver? Well, a couple of things. Again, it comes with all the same features as our other drivers. The double-ended bits, so 7 double-ended bits, plus the shank. It's a 15-in-1. But the nice thing about these bits, it's a locking driver. You notice these bits, there's a bit of a bevel on these bits. And what that does is you can actually lock this in. Why is that important? If you're working on something that's hard to get to, you can actually fasten whatever you're working on without worrying that the bit is going to get stuck on the other end. And that's happened to me. That's happened to me several times. So that's one important thing. The other important piece is this connector here is an ANSI connector. ANSI, A-N-S-I, American National Standards Institute. That's a standard here in North America that is standard on a lot of other products. So obviously the bit works perfectly here, but say you have, and a lot of techs have one of these. This is an impact driver. And again, don't worry about the color. All of these drivers, regardless of the color, they could be, black and yellow, they can be red and white, they can be green, they can be whatever color. All the different brands have the same ANSI connector. So the bits that I have in the Megalock work perfectly on this particular driver. It locks in, works perfectly. So that's one major advantage, is that the bits work on those impact drivers. The other advantage is, if you remember, I have a whole bunch of these bits in my toolbox. So this is that 4-inch bit that I've had for the better part of 15 to 20 years. Because it's an ANSI specification bit, it'll work perfectly on the Megalock. It locks in perfectly. So that's one. If you recall, I had the little 2-inch bit. Again, that's been sitting in my toolbox for several years, and that works perfectly. So as a recap, the bits that come with the Megalock can be shared with some of the power tools, and additional bits that you may have in your toolbox will work just as long as they are ANSI specification. Okay? Now, that's a quick recap of our drivers. The only other thing I've missed on this, and I don't want to forget this, is our 6-inch aluminum extension. We talked about this a few months back, but I wanted to bring this up. First and foremost, it's feathered light. It's a 6-inch aluminum extension. It's an ANSI specification extension, so it fits perfectly in our Megalock, and it locks in. So it works great on this particular driver. But the nice thing about this is, because it has a little spring-loaded ball bearing, it actually works well on all of our drivers. So the Automotive non-ratcheting that I was talking to you about works perfectly on this one. And the Automotive ratcheting, because this has the magnet in it, it also works on this. So literally, this works with every driver that we carry. So I tend to try to talk about this with pretty well any driver I talk about. Okay, we've just gone through kind of a recap of our drivers, some of the features and benefits of our multi-bit screwdrivers. I'm actually going to move on to impact bits and nut setters. Really, really excited about these products. So first and foremost, I'm going to talk to you about our nut setter line. So they're impact. Each of the nut setters has a strong magnet in them. They come both in a standard SAE and a metric version. They both have the carabiner, so you can actually hook it up to your tool belt. A real strong plastic clip here that holds each piece. The standard or SAE come in sizes 1/4, 5/16, 3/8, 7/16, and 1/2 inch. The metric come in 6 mil, 7 mil, 8, 10 mil, and 12 mil. So 5-piece sets, great for everyday use, a real high quality product. The other thing I want to talk about, just again, in relation to our drivers that we were just talking about, if you're in a pinch and you've got these bits, these impact bits, but you don't have an impact driver with you, but you do have some of our multi-bit screwdrivers, this one here, or these bits, are ANSI specifications, so they work perfectly. It's another reason why I like the Megalock. They work perfectly with the Megalock. You can actually put them in there and use this and get yourself out of a bit of a bind if you don't have a power tool. And they also work with the Automotive ratcheting with the magnet. So I just wanted to share that with you. So that's one thing that you can do with our nut setters. The other thing that I did not mention, and you may not be able to see this, but each individual piece is marked. The size is actually marked on each individual piece. So I wanted to share that with you. So that is our nut setter line. And then we have an extensive line of impact bits. Again, same design, carabiner. You can hook them up to your tool belt. The plastic clip here holds 10 pieces. Now, we have a variety on these impact bits. You can get, for example, if you use the number 2 Phillips bit all day, every day, you can get 10 number 2 Phillips on one clip. So you have several that you can use on one clip. Or if you use a variety, for example, the one I've got in front of me has a combination of Phillips and Robertson or square drive. We also have one that has a combination of Torx, Phillips, and Robertson. So there's 6 or 7 different varieties that we have. And once again, I can't stress enough, if you're in a bit of a bind, I'm going to show you the same thing I just showed you with the nut setters. These are ANSI specification. They work perfectly with our Megapro, with our Megalock driver, and they work perfectly with our Automotive ratcheting driver. So again, in a pinch, you can use them with this product here. And like I said, once you're done, just snap them back in and you're off to the races. Okay, so those are in the clips. We also, if you have a retail environment and you have counter space, this is a great option for our impact bits and nut setters. So what you're seeing here is a little plastic cookie jar. And what I've got in here are the actual nut setters. There's 10 per bag, and there are 5 bags per cookie jar. So it comes packaged this way. And in terms of the bits, the individual impact bits, there would be 10 in each one of these bags. And there's 10 bags in a case. There's 100 of those. So the nut setters come in 50 pack, and the impact bits come in a 100 pack. Okay, so that is our impact nut setters and bits. I am going to move on. That's one of our real popular products that we sell. This next one has really gained a lot of popularity. I'm actually going to show you the little display. Again, this is more for a retail setup, counter display. There are 24 pocket drivers here. Now, what's so special about these pocket drivers? Small little piece, just fits in your hand. It really, it's there to get you out of a bit of a jam, doing precision work. The pocket driver has 2 plastic caps on either end. And there are 2 bits, double-sided bits. Again, high quality S2 steel, S2 hardened steel bits on either end. And they're interchangeable depending on what you need. They're both slotted and Phillips on either end. Now the sizes, the Phillips sizes are 0 and 0.0, and the flat tip are 1.5 and 2 mil. So for example, let's just say you're using the 0 size Phillips. You just clip both caps on one end, and they all clip in, and then you can do what you've got to do, work on whatever you got to do. And I'll be honest with you, I use this on these glasses probably every other week. I'm lucky I have another pair of glasses because I can actually see what I'm doing, but I use these to tighten the screws on these glasses. So it's great to get you out of small little jams. Once you're done, just take the one end cap it, clip it in. There's a little pocket clip here. You can wear it in your pocket, and it's a real nice little lightweight on these pocket drivers. Once again, there's 24 per box. Okay, moving on. That's our pocket driver. Really excited about this next product also. Now, there's a lot of people that sell lights, and obviously we do too. This is our high intensity LED light. There are 12 per box, and again, great for a counter display. And I'll tell you a little bit about the light. So the light, first and foremost, is water resistant. On-off button is right up top. I'm not going to shine this in the camera. So on-off button up top. There's 120 lumens. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bulbs that illuminate. 120 lumens, water resistant. One of the really important features we have, or the light comes with a 180 swivel pocket clip. So you can put it in your pocket, you can put it in your tool belt, in your tool bag. But the nice thing about it is, because this little pocket clip swivels. It doesn't just swivel, it's an actual magnet. So it's an actual pretty strong magnet right there. You can see it hang on, and you can actually direct this 180 degrees. So if you're working in a tight confined area where you have some metal that you can put this on, you can actually direct it 180 degrees. Now, the other piece is there's a magnet at the bottom, a stronger magnet at the bottom, which works really, really nice. And probably one of the biggest features on this is we sell the product with 3 AAA batteries already in the light. How many times have you bought a flashlight, you've gone home, you've tried to turn it on, and you realize there's no batteries in there? We don't do that to you. We actually supply the batteries, which is really, really important. It's a real nice ergonomic grip, soft grip, and water resistant. So those are our lights. Okay, just as a recap, we've talked about our drivers, some of the features of our drivers. We've talked about our impact nut setters and bits. We've talked about our pocket drivers. We've talked about our LED work light. Couple of things I want to finish off with. First and foremost, imprinting. So out of all the products we just talked about, other than our impact bits and nut setters, you can actually put your company logo. You can imprint your company logo on our product. So for example, on this light, obviously there's minimum quantities that apply, but you can actually imprint your company logo on this light if you choose to do that. That's an option we give you. On the pocket drivers, we can do the exact same thing. So there's Megapro on the one side, on the other, we can imprint your company logo on these little pocket drivers. Great as giveaways or just to promote your company. So on the pocket drivers, and also on all of our drivers, we have that option. You can actually imprint on all of our different drivers that we make. So just to customize it with your company logo. So that's imprinting. And last but not least, I'll leave you with one little nugget here. We are actually putting together currently a bundle promotion with our Megalock driver and our nut setter product. Again, stay tuned on that. We'll have a bit more information for you on that, but that's something that's coming in the new year, and we'll have a bit more information for you shortly. And that is all I've got today. Today was a bit shorter, but that's all I've got. If anyone has any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer any questions at this point. Thank you.
So I've just made a note in the chat. If you'd like to ask questions, please feel free to comment them, and then we will read it to Frank so he can answer you. He was pretty thorough, so I'm not sure how many questions there will be, but he is here if you have anything. And it doesn't have to be what we talked about today. If you have any question about Megapro, he is the guy to ask. No. So I think we're good on questions. Actually, wait. I do see that there's a little bit of lag between what's showing on LinkedIn and what is showing on the screen that we see here right now. So I'll just give it one more minute and then we will wrap up. If you do have questions that we didn't get the chance to ask, you can email us, sales@megaprotools.com, frank@mail@megaprotools.com. Happy to help at any time. So I'm going to pop off. Frank, you can wrap up in, I don't know, 30 seconds, unless we have a question come in.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, well, folks, I don't think there's any questions, so that tells me I think I did an okay job today. So anyways, I want to thank everyone. I want to thank Jack and everyone that participated. And you know what? I look forward to our next LinkedIn Live probably in a couple of months. Thank you and have a great day.